Hello and welcome to a special edition of Talking MK, and I'm actually in the civic offices in Milton Keynes Council, and I'm joined by Sam Crooks, the new leader of the council. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lincoln.
Sam, obviously it's only recently been into the post. Tell me a bit about your background, how you've come to where you are now.
I've been here so long, Lincoln, it's going to be a bit of a list, so I apologise for that. But I came here in 1970, and I was at the OU for 15 years, a tremendously happy time. And then from there I went and worked in London for a bit, but commuting every day from here, because I didn't want to leave. Then my wife and family are French, and so I went to live in France and then America for 10 years, and came back here. Alongside those jobs, I've also been connected with the council. So I first joined the council in 1980, and I've actually been around this circuit before as well, because I was leader for, 6 years, with a small gap, from 1987 onwards.
Oh, so you've had the work experience part under your belt for some time now.
Well, it's changed. I mean, the council I'm in now is much, much bigger than it was then, and so's the city. And the city in the last 3 or 4 years has really taken off.
Now, it's no secret in the last, couple of years the council's been going through some difficult times, and we're starting to see some changes at the higher levels. What's your take on where we're at and how we got to where we are? Not so much how we got to where we are, but what are the reasons why the council is in a difficult shape at the moment?
Well, in a funny kind of way, it's related to what I've just said. We grew very fast, and I think the problem was that within the council, there wasn't the opportunity for the council itself to grow at the same time, in terms of bringing people in from outside with the skills of running a very large organisation and all of the challenges that the city was bringing. That's what I think we've resolved. I'm going to give you a cliche, and I apologise for that, but I think we hit rock bottom last year, and the only way out of that, and I think we've started, the only way out of that is up.
Certainly, myself and many people that I know, I'm sure yourself as well, are very, very passionate about the city. Everyone knows we get a bad rap nationally, and it's normally undeserved, and only people that live in Milton Keynes can really appreciate what a great city it is. So we're all really hoping that the council can turn things around and be, if you like, lead the city through this difficult economic times, but also inspire businesses and public sector services to sort of really step up and be a better organisation at the end of it.
Absolutely right. I want to put the council bang slap in the centre of the civic life of this city. I want people to feel that it's their council, that they're proud of it, that they want to aspire to what we can do. And what we have to do is to respond to the ambition of the city. Because if you go out there across the road and ask people what they think about Milton Keynes, they'll tell you what a great city it is, how they want their kids to grow up here, and how they're not thinking of moving. Indeed, they want their family to come and join them. And we've got to respond to that kind of passion and that kind of ambition.
Well, you certainly sound like you have the passion and the ambition. What sort of help and support would you need from your many stakeholders and partners in the city?
I think the first and most important thing is to be told what people want. We've got to get out into local communities of every kind, not just people like me of a certain age, background and so on. When I talk to my kids, they're on a completely different planet. I can hardly understand them. God only knows what Facebook is when it gets going. But Facebook, YouTube, it's a completely different way of communicating with the world. The different kinds of communities we have, the different backgrounds we come from, whether it's Hindu, West Indian, Sikh, Muslim, whatever. We've got to find out those very different ways in which people think and what they want from their council. And then we've got to deliver it. But the first task is listening and then learning.
And you're right, there are many different communities now. When I moved to the city over 30 years ago, I was one of only a handful of black families. In fact, I think I was the only black guy in the school throughout my school life. Now, you go to any school, the ratios are completely different, and we're much more of a multicultural city. That must have an effect on the way the council develops.
I think it's fantastic, because what I look for is the creativity that's here, the vibrancy that's here, all the cultural differences that are here, and I say this is exciting. This isn't dull and bland like some Middle England city that's been there since the year 1000. we've got the opportunity of building in all of that creativity to take us into the end of this century and into the next. The one thing that we must not do is become dull ourselves. We've got to learn how to go on building on this innovation and keeping going forward.
Milton Keynes is well known for being a first in many areas, architecture, the largest shopping centre, the first 10-screen cinema, we've got a fantastic football stadium. We've got a lot of things that we can build on, but it still will be very, very challenging. I mean, what's your vision of terms of the next 5-10 years? We all know about the talk of regeneration, and there's lots of people have different opinions. Have you got an idea of the type of Milton Keynes we should be looking forward to in the next 10-20 years' time?
I think it's two things. The first thing I want to do is to unlock the talent that's here. You walk down the road, less than 10 minutes away, we've got the new University Centre. In that University Centre, there are a couple of students who specialise in web graphics. And where are they going shortly? To Beijing, to represent this country in the Olympics, because apparently they have Olympics in web graphics. That's the talent that's here. That's what we've got to find, and it's what we've got to unlock. We can put ourselves on thousands of maps across the world by finding that talent and letting it out. The other thing is a cultural thing. We were joking about, before we started, about organisations and the way in which they kill things. Mm-hmm. I want a motto for this city, and it's quite simple. It's just do it. Get out there and do it. If it's your thing, don't ask permission. Don't get locked up in a bureaucracy somewhere. Just go and do it. And then we'll all learn from that.
That sounds refreshing, because I don't think we've had that culture up till now. And there are many entrepreneurs, many business people. Milton Keynes is a great place for networking and people to come together. And we know that there's a real can-do spirit, especially in the private sector. And I think the council needs to also join into that spirit as well, and then to work together.
Yeah, but you started with something I don't agree with. You said, I don't think we've had that culture up until now. That's crazy. Look, you imagine what it was like for the people who sat down here in 1970 and looked at a map when it was all green fields and had the vision to think up what's here. Those two iconic volumes of what we call the master plan. That's what they did. Look at what Pete Winkleman did. The only person who believed that he could create a stadium, and he did it. We do have that entrepreneurial spirit. We've just got to make sure it spreads throughout the city.
Well, that's what I want to see happen. That's what I know everyone out there wants to see happen. And it's going to be a tough thing, a tough challenge, but like you say, we can just do it and just make it happen.
That's what I want.
I've got to ask you the last question, my favourite question.
I know what's coming.
Yeah. How do you relax? Not that you'll have much time to relax initially, but when you do get some time, how do you unwind?
My salad days are over, but I do still enjoy convivial company. In other words, I like going out for a meal. I like drinking with my friends. I like doing things with other people.
Can you expand on that?
Well, I mean, we never quite know what it is. Sometimes we all pitched into a car the other day and headed off for Snowdonia. My family are still in France, so I go regularly to Paris, obviously. Sometimes I go with people from here because we think it'd be nice to go shopping. One of the things that I think is exciting is the spontaneity of it, and that it's actually not planned when so much of the rest of my life is.
Well, Sam, it's fantastic to meet you and talk to you, and thank you for giving us your time. I know you're a very busy man, but we wish you all the best with reshaping the council and taking us into the next stage of our development.
Thank you.
Thank you.